we're going to cover sort of some of the time in between, but 5 years into your tenure now, we have reconnected to our past, maybe even exceeding some of the glory days of the old teams. But it didn't begin that way. Your 2001 team began 1-4. At what point did you feel things really start turning around? Was there a critical juncture or turning point that you really can put your finger on?
Yeah, it was really interesting because the first Pac-10 game that we played was up at Oregon. Oregon was favored to win the Pac-10 at the time, and we had played them right to the nub, and they kicked the field goal with time running out, and they won. And we played lousy. You know, we weren't playing good, and it was a lousy game for us, and we had plenty of chances to win it, but they won it. The next week we go to Washington, and same thing happens again. And you know, we lose right at the end of the game. We played pretty well that week, and they had been, you know, thought of as a very good team, one of the top teams in the conference as well. And when the game was over, you know, you go out and shake hands with the opposing coach, you know, and it was Rick Neuheisel at the time. We shook hands. I grabbed him back and said, "It ain't going to take us very long," you know. And he looked at me like, "Oh, that's great, Pete," you know. You know, a little extra energy for him at that moment, you know. And but at that point, I could tell that we were lousy. We weren't playing good. We hadn't established ourselves at all. But here we were going neck and neck with the best guys in our conference, and it was terribly frustrating. But it wasn't until the Arizona game, which came right after that we were playing at Arizona, and we were winning the game. And here comes Arizona. They score a touchdown. They get a turnover. They're starting to get back again. The momentum started to shift. And as they're coming back, Chris Richard intercepts the ball on the sidelines and goes about 70 yards and returns it and kind of puts the game, shifts the whole game and puts it out of reach, and they're not going to catch us, and we go on to win the football game. In that locker room, after that game, for whatever reason, you know, I was, you know, moved to say to these guys that we don't have to lose anymore. We've lost all the games we need to lose around here. And from this point on, that's the way we're thinking, that's the way we're operating, and we've been on a pretty good tear since then, you know.
That's right.
But it was really it was getting out of your own way almost to win your games, and that's what was necessary. That's what had to take place, and did I know that for sure? No, but I was hoping that was going to be the moment. So we used that as a kind of the marker, and really that was the time, and we haven't lost very many games since then.
And those weren't even your players at that point in time. You hadn't recruited but 1 year.
Yeah, but they were good players.
Oh, they were good players.
They had recruited good players for sure, because we went on and won the Orange Bowl the next year and you know, put together a lot of wins with those same guys. But it was a really classic and a really cool turnaround because everybody could kind of feel it.
And that's one of the frustrations of the longtime fans is that, you know, we're there and you still get great recruits before you arrived. You still get great recruits. They're high school All-Americans, and then still sending a lot of people to the pros, and they're having successful pro careers. But what's happening in those 4 years while they're here? We were underperforming, penalties, turnovers, less than inspired play. So you know, to take the same group of guys and really turn it around that quickly says something about the coaching.